Thank you for watching ECSO News, where facts matter. I'm Allison Morgan.
And I'm Amber Southard. Let's take a look at our top trending Facebook headlines. William Hurst Peters III was arrested on August 16th for the March 11th homicide of Cynthia Finney. Escambia County firefighters found Finney's body inside her home burning. DNA evidence played a major role in this homicide investigation that led to Peters' arrest. Peters was already serving time in jail on child abuse charges.
He was in jail. I spoke with him 11 days after the homicide. And at that particular time, he gave us no indication in his first interview that he was ever over there. But as things progressed, he was picked up on a outstanding warrant for, I believe it was a child support warrant as well as a child abuse. And while he was in jail, he was able to go through the process to the court and be sentenced, and he was awaiting to be transferred to somewhere in the state of Florida to serve out 18 months in state prison for the child abuse charge.
Peters has been arrested 21 times previously, including 2 juvenile felony arrests.
Caught trying to lure a child from an arcade. This incident happened on August 14th. A woman reported a man trying to take her child from the arcade at Flounders on Pensacola Beach. When deputies arrived, they arrested Chad Jones. Witnesses say he used a dollar bill to try to tempt the child to leave Flounders with him. That's when the parents noticed something wasn't right and took action, taking the child away from Jones and contacting authorities. Jones was charged with attempted kidnapping, luring or enticing a child, interference with custody of a child, and resisting arrest without violence.
Each week we like to bring you a segment highlighting some of the missing people's cases that are being worked here at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. We have Investigator Stimmel with us. Can you tell us who you brought on today?
Yes, ma'am. I've brought some people that we've already aired, but we didn't really receive any tips or anything new. So the first one is Ashley Holmes. She's been missing since 4/30. 2016 approximately. She's also wanted with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, so if anybody knows where Ashley Holmes is at, it would be a great help if you let us know.
Is there a last known area that she was in?
We received information that she was in Alabama once, but then we also received information that she was in Mississippi, so we're not really sure. She could really be anywhere in this whole corridor, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana area now.
Okay. Does she have a history of running away?
She does. She has a history. She's a habitual runaway, and she's been in a little bit of trouble with the juvenile courts and stuff before, which is one of the reasons with her active warrant. So.
Okay. Who else did you bring to highlight?
Mackenzie Ray Owens. He has also been aired before. He's a habitual runaway also. This time he's been gone since about 6/4, 2016. He tends to stay in the Pensacola area. He is part of one of the foster children in Escambia County, the foster children program. And generally when he's placed with a new foster parent, sooner or later he's gone. So,
being in the foster child program, is that more common to have these runaways, and does it make it more difficult to locate them?
It does. A lot of times the children don't want to be in the foster child program, but due to whatever has occurred in their past, they've been placed in a foster program, and a lot of times they're trying to get back to their biological parents, and so they continue to run away to do that.
Who else you got?
Alyssa Nicole Atkins. She has not been aired yet. She's been missing since about 6/9, 2016. We received information that she's possibly in the Houston, Texas area. I've reached out to agencies over there, law enforcement agencies, and they're assisting in the investigation, but we have not had any luck in locating her in Texas or Houston or any of that area yet. So,
is she also a habitual runaway?
She is. She's been documented several times this year and a little bit in the previous years running away.
And if anyone sees her, who should they call?
Obviously, if you're in Escambia County, contact us at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, 436-9620, or 911, and they'll connect you to the Sheriff's Office. If you're in another state or another county, just contact your local law enforcement agency and let them know that, hey, you believe this child's a runaway or a missing person, and they'll be able to get a hold of us and confirm that they are missing or a runaway.
All right, thank you so much for joining us again. If you have any information about these 3 people that have been highlighted on tonight's episode, you can call the Escambia County Sheriff's Office at 436-9620 or Crime Stoppers, and that number is going to be 433-STOP. It's that time again to register for the In Hot Pursuit 5K on beautiful Pensacola Beach. This year, the 5K Run Walk will be on Saturday, October 22nd, starting at 8 a.m. All proceeds from the race will go to support the Florida Sheriff's Association Youth Ranches. It's an organization dedicated to prevention of juvenile delinquency and the production of strong, lawful, and productive citizens. Earlier this year, some members of the Sheriff's Office, including myself, got to meet some ranchers who have turned their lives around. They gave us some insight into their time on the ranch.
It's amazing. I mean, you think there's these people who are paying for you to be here, paying for you to eat, paying for you to do your job. It means a lot to me. I thank those people. I show them respect. Part of the reason why I wanted to be a ranch ambassador is so I could show my gratitude for those who come.
The Sheriff's Office will receive the Golden Star Award from the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches in the coming months. The award is raising more than $50,000 for the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches from our In Hot Pursuit race. Head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/official ECSO for more information on the race, including how to sign up.
Sheriff David Morgan was honored to receive the Excellence in Giving Award from the Escambia Coalition on the Homeless. He accepted the award earlier this month. ECOH gives this award to honor groups who support their mission to prevent and eliminate homelessness in our community.
So this month we're talking a little more about DUI arrest, and there's a national campaign that's going on, and it's Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over. To talk to us a little more about that, we have Sergeant Swanson and Master Deputy Poole. Can you guys tell me a little bit about this program?
Absolutely. The Florida Department of Transportation is having their National Labor Day kickoff, the Drive Sober Get Pulled Over program that they have every year. It focuses on impaired drivers and reducing the amount of deaths and crashes that we have because of them.
Okay. And this is a certain week that this is kind of being enforced a little more?
Yes, it's running August 19th through September 5th this year.
Okay. So tell me a little bit, Deputy Poole, about what you guys do during this campaign.
Well, during this time period, we have the three people that are the three deputies that are on the DUI unit are out, and also we have other deputies that come out working the DUI overtime. We're looking for anything that is not normal driving, concentrating on traffic infractions, speeders. Anytime we do a traffic stop, one of the things that we're doing is evaluating that driver to see if they may be impaired.
How or why is this important to have a campaign like this? I know you guys are out all year round. You're always looking to protect people and make sure that they're not out drinking and driving and causing accidents on the road. But why is it so important to crack down during this time of year?
During this time of the year, you will have more instances of people drinking and then going out and driving, which then relates back to getting into crashes. Our DUI totals will go up, our DUI crashes will go up, and unfortunately our DUI deaths will go up during certain times of the year, especially around the holidays. So therefore campaigns like this is publicized. It helps put it into the public's mind that we're out there, and hopefully just the fact that we're talking about it may make somebody think that maybe I need to do alternate transportation, and also it gives the public a chance to know that we are out there, we are making arrests, and if you drink and drive, you got a good chance you're going to meet one of us and wind up on arrest for DUI.
That's very true. Sergeant, can you tell me what are some of the things you guys are going to be doing during this particular time? You talked about upping patrols a little bit. Are there going to be any checkpoints or stops?
We're not focusing on the checkpoints. We're focusing on public awareness. We're trying to get the message out there, tell people, hey, we're serious about it. We will pull you over. We will take you to jail. We won't, this is a for real serious crime. I mean, people are dying every year because of it. And I think the last stats that they had is one person is killed in a drunk driving crash every 53 minutes in the United States. So it's definitely something that, as a nation, we have to work on reducing.
We were talking about our area in particular ranking rather high in these DUI stats earlier.
The latest Florida Highway Safety Matrix, they listed all the different counties. Escambia County is in a group of a population of over 200,000 citizens in the county. So there's 24 counties in Florida that meet that criteria, and we, by the last count, we're 13th in impaired driving.
Wow, those numbers, just kind of hearing them, that's rather high. So it is very important to have programs like this.
Absolutely.
During these few weeks, we're going to be spreading a bunch of awareness here with our department. What are some of the other things that we're going to be doing?
They're doing, they're going to have a Hands Across the Borders event towards the end of this month, which is it's a cooperation between us and other agencies where, you know, it's a share information type focus on things. Just being out there and increasing the amount of patrols and, you know, doing our job like we normally do.
If somebody had or wanted to get more information on this program, what's something they could do?
They could go to our Facebook page, Escambia County's Sheriff's Department Facebook page. We'll have information that they can go to. They can go to Florida Department of Transportation's website. There's all kinds of information out there.
Is there anything else you guys would like to share any more about this program?
One thing about the Hands Across the Border, that's just not something that is done here in Florida. That is also during the same time period that this Hands Across the Border and this DUI campaign is being done. It's also being done in the states surrounding us, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana. So therefore, you know, everybody is concentrating on trying to get the DUI deaths not down just here in Florida, but across the you know, southern part of the United States.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we'll be bringing you more information about this program as it starts up and our campaign keeps going on our Facebook page and on our website at escambiaso.com. Thank you, Pensacola Beach and Levin Rinke Realty, for showing your support. And thank you for your support, Beck Partners. On Fridays, they wear blue to show support for law enforcement officers. We had some special guests visit us at the office earlier this month. Cub Scout Troop 645 stopped by to get a tour of the ECSO and talk with Sheriff David Morgan about local law enforcement.
Well, we wanted to have the Cub Scouts have an opportunity to meet with a government official, and they also have an opportunity to meet with a local hero. And so they had two requirements, and we thought that the county sheriff would be perfect. And they let us come in and talk to him, and it was great.
We had a great time getting to know all of you.
Lock your doors, keep what's yours. On August 10th, this man stole ammunition, guns, and other items from a vehicle on the 1400 block of Sturbridge Place. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP or the ECSO at 436-9620.
So each week we want to bring you a segment on our Crime Stoppers unit and talk about the most wanted that you have. We have Melanie Peterson on with us now. Who'd you bring on to the show?
Well, we have two females that we're really looking for dealing in stolen property. Oh. And one career habitual offender that has failed to register.
Okay.
So we definitely want to know where he's at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can find him.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the first one?
All right. The first one is Marquita Turner, 27 years of age. On April 7th, she went into the Walmart on Blue Angel Parkway. She was with three other friends. The three friends went in, stole items out of the store while she waited in the car. A few minutes later, she came back into the store and returned those items and got a gift card of $88 on the way out the door. Loss prevention didn't see her first in the first trip, but recognized the second girl, one of the girls, stopped them, and then they all confessed, and she was charged with dealing in stolen property.
Ah, so we are still looking for her. If somebody
Yes.
If somebody thinks that they might see her or know her or anything about this case, what should they do?
Well, I ask that everyone, if you don't want to get involved, you can always contact Crime Stoppers at 433-STOP. You're 100% anonymous. You'll never be asked your name. You'll never have to appear in court. Give us a location of where she's at. She does have an active outstanding warrant, and there is money for that reward.
Oh, wonderful.
And you often post these on your Facebook page as well.
Yeah, and like I tell everybody, you know, if you give me a tip, you let me know where she's at, patrol goes out, makes the arrest. You know, we want to pay people for for helping us. So it's definitely worth it.
One of the things that I learned kind of talking to you about Crime Stoppers is you get a number. You're assigned a number, and that's how you stay anonymous. So it's very important that you keep up with that number.
Absolutely. Anytime you give a tip to Crime Stoppers, you will be given a number. And every Monday between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., you can check the status of that tip. I recently had the pleasure of giving some really good news to a tipster who stayed dedicated to her tip. For 2 years, she kept providing narcotics information about a location that was selling spice. It resulted in the store closing, and our agency, along with DEA, made several good arrests. And so I was finally able to say, hey, it paid off. Thanks for being so patient. But a lot of our tipsters are dedicated, and you know, that tip never expires. That tip number, it never ever expires.
That's wonderful news. I'm glad to hear that it works, and you can see the success and kind of follow it through.
Oh yeah, and it's a lot of fun just being able to tell people that really have no idea that they're going to get some of the reward amounts that they've gotten. The highest one I've given has been $900.
Oh wow!
And so I always tell people crime doesn't pay, but we do. So,
I like that.
So I always want them to call in and let me know, and so hopefully my biggest goal is to get a good tip on a cold case.
Absolutely.
Well, who's the second person we're
The second person, kind of the same scenario. Her name is April Lee. She's 37 years of age. On April the 27th, she entered into Burlington Coat Factory on Davis Highway. While she was inside the store, she stole baby items, a couple of pair of shoes, and a pair of Reebok pants, and she left the store. Waited a little bit, couple of hours, came back, returned it. Loss Prevention recognized her. Reviewed the camera, and sure enough saw her in those aisles and stopped her, and she wasn't issued a gift card, but she was arrested, and she did not show back up. So she does have an outstanding warrant for a failure to appear on that dealing in stolen property.
And you said she's a habitual offender as well, correct?
She has had quite a lengthy, she's had many arrests as far as thefts, so, still, one thing is she'd already been arrested. She'd been given an opportunity to not stay in jail, and she failed to show up for a court date. So with that, you have to kind of wonder.
Yeah.
So, if you know where April's at, turn her in.
Okay, and the third person?
And our final one, of course, is, finally, his name is Gary Rogers. Gary is 57 years of age. Gary has kind of made it his life's mission to be, I guess, the best criminal that he can be, but he has failed to register. He's finally reached that status to where we need to know where Gary's at all times, and of course he did not. He failed to register, and so now he has a warrant as well.
Yeah, hashtag criminal goals kind of felt.
Drop the ball again. So if you do know anybody in Gary's neighborhood, if you know where he's at, if you're one of his friends, again, you don't have to tell us your name. We sure won't ask, but call Crime Stoppers.
Something neat that you guys also have are these kiosks.
Yes.
And they're placed all over the county.
Absolutely. We have 6 right now. And I got some really good news today. I also have some friends that are helping me. Just got off the phone with the marketing manager with Walmart, and so I'm hoping to place the remaining 4 in Walmart. So I'm very excited. But I know I've got one going in it's by City Hall at the gas company. We've got them at the health department, Janet Hawley tax collector. Our sheriff's office lobby has one in the courthouse.
And if anyone wants to take another good look at one of these individuals, where is the best place to take a look at them?
Well, of course, you can check this website. You can also check our Facebook page. We do ask that while you're on the Facebook page to like us, invite your friends to like us. And also, you can check out, our Wanted Fugitive shows, which airs 9 p.m. Central Time on Sundays. So, it's really good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And again, if you recognize any of these people that we've highlighted in tonight's episode, please call Crime Stoppers. That number is 433-STOP. You can also call the Escambia County Sheriff's Office at 436-9620. Thanks.
I'm Escambia County Sheriff David Morgan, and thank you for watching Ask the Sheriff. This is your chance to ask me any questions you want answered about the ECSO. Our team hits the streets again, and here are some of the questions you asked.
My question is, how has the overall crime been over the summer this year? Is it above normal or pretty normal for this summer? Like overall.
Our crime stats are continuing to trend down. As just we had a mid-year report. What we do is we take our data. It's reported twice to the state and then eventually to the FBI at the federal level for their publication of what's referred to as a uniform crime report. And we had some just phenomenal numbers at mid-year this time. We show an uptick in our solve rate for property crimes, a downward trend in violent crime in Escambia County to include domestic violence. Domestic violence is down almost 14%. And our juvenile crime rate, which tends to tick up during our summer months, pretty much remain flat. We think that's as a result of some very aggressive intervention programs through Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Boys and Girls Clubs in the community, our Explorer program, so many different youth outreaches. We kind of have turned up on high over the last couple of years, and we're starting to see the benefits of that. And as a result, we got some crime reports that showed a downward trend this summer in actual juvenile crime, which normally drives the higher numbers during our summer. So we've been very fortunate. This year in Escambia County, we actually witnessed a downward trend in crimes across the board.
What's the sheriff's office opinion on what citizens should do if they have a concealed handgun license and they're carrying a concealed weapon and they get pulled over by the police?
The safest thing to always do is to follow the officer's directions when they approach your car, meaning keep your hands in plain view. An officer will ask for certain items. If it's a traffic stop, they'll ask for your license, registration, proof of insurance, etc. Only do those things that the officer asks for, again, and do not make any quick movements while the officer is approaching your car or while the officer is talking to you. What we have many citizens do is if they are carrying concealed at that time, meaning the weapon is actually on them, or let's say the weapon is in a console or in a glove compartment, they will advise an officer that I'm a licensed to carry gun owner and that my gun is in the car and I'm wanting to advise you of that. And many times with their license, they'll hand the officer their concealed carry to, again, show proof to the officer that, hey, I have been licensed to carry this weapon. That's a safe thing to do, but it's also at that point you need to make sure that the officer knows that you're not reaching for the weapon, and the officer, may come over and ask if they can assist you in getting that, or they may have you step out of the car and do some additional checks. So in order to remain safe, if you're carrying a concealed weapon with contact with law enforcement, advise the officer of who you are, that you in fact are licensed to carry, that you are currently carrying a weapon, and then follow the directions of the officer. That's the safest thing that you can do.
My question is, I live in the county right outside of the city limits, and I want to know, how do the city and county work together, because I also live in a high crime area, how do they work together in conjunction to fight crime when you're right there on the border?
Audrey, that's an excellent question. I have daily contact with the Pensacola Police Department through all of our different units and divisions at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, just not with the Chief of Police, David Alexander. We coordinate very closely, especially on drug operations, because so many times narcotics operations will involve not just local, county, and state officials, but obviously federal officials if it bounces up to the federal level to get engaged with the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. So that goes on all the time. Now, we have authority throughout the county. This can be confusing for civilians to not understand that as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer for Escambia County, I and my personnel can write tickets inside the city limits or anywhere in the county, or we can run drug operations anywhere in the city or anywhere in the county. The reverse is not true. The Pensacola Police Department's limitation is for the city limits, and so therefore they can only operate there. But we, again, work all of these operations as you're asking, so it's a joint operation. If you report a drug problem, either to the city or the county, I can guarantee you that it will get to the right information will get to the right people. So we're here to help. Hopefully that'll help you a little bit about the jurisdictional issues with the city and the county. And remember, you can call 911 for an emergency, or for a non-emergency number is 436-9620. And if you don't want any contact with the officer that you called at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, meaning you want to remain anonymous, make sure that you tell dispatch that, and then that way you will have no officer contact, but you can still report your information. So thank you so much for your question.
I wonder if the sheriff is going to play the guns and hoses game.
I don't play in that. You know, we field a team down there, and the reason why is because I'm the coach and manager. You know, I am, how shall I say, I'm the soul of this team. And without the soul, the body dies. And so therefore, I'll be there, and we will win.
How many people do you arrest in a week, and how many girl deputies do you have?
Cheyenne, we don't have a specific number on weekly arrests, and the reason being is it's subject to such a fluctuation, meaning it goes up or down, depending upon what we're engaged in. If we're doing a narcotics operation, you could have multiple arrests that week, and then next week we wouldn't be in that operation, so the numbers would drop. Or we could do a sweep for panhandlers, or we could do a joint operation with the United States Marshal Service serving, you know, a number of warrants. And so that number is always moving up and down. So it's very, very difficult to say how many do you do per week to even give you anywhere near an average. And so you can also check with the county corrections. You can go to the Board of County Commissioners and ask what's the intake on inmates in any given week. If you're doing a research paper or something like that, what I would recommend you do is get a snapshot, meaning that for the month of or for the week of, and then you could get a number for that. But we compile that data twice a year, at mid-year and at the end of the year, to get a total number of arrests in Escambia County. I will tell you that we respond to a tremendous number of calls. It's been as high as 303,000 calls for service in Escambia County, and I think a low of about 247 calls for service since I've been sheriff. So as you can see, we respond to a lot of calls, but that doesn't always, you know, equate to the number of arrests, because there's no jail large enough to handle that many people. So just because we respond to a call doesn't mean that there's an arrest affected there. We can issue citations called notices to appear. There's a whole host of things that just because you have contact with law enforcement doesn't mean that an arrest is affected. On to your question about the number of female officers, we have 47 total that are sworn. We refer to them as sworn officers, meaning they're uniformed patrol folks. That's where they start. Our highest ranking officer is Commander Tracy Uhouse. Our lowest, of course, is Deputy Sheriff trainees. We have 4 of those currently going through the system. I would tell you that Commander Uhouse, you know, well-rounded officer, has served in just about every aspect of the Sheriff's Office. She's been a homicide investigator. She's worked in narcotics. She is currently the commander of our administrative division. She's also been the head of internal affairs, both as an investigator and then later running that organization. So her experience is across the board. She's one of those officers that we could literally place anywhere, you know, and she'd do an outstanding job. So if you're looking for a career in law enforcement and you're female, you know, please come on down. I'm sure we have a place for you. Remember, you can also email your questions and ask the sheriff at escambiaso.com. We'll be back next week right here on Blab TV Tuesday night at 8 p.m.